Critiques of Nationalism. Nationalism, the political ideology that emphasizes the nation and promotes its interests, has been subject to various criticisms. While nationalism can inspire pride, unity, and resistance against oppression, critics argue that it can also foster exclusion, conflict, and undermine universal human rights. Here are some key arguments against nationalism. Exclusive and divisive nationalism often emphasizes the distinct identity, history, and culture of a particular nation, which can lead to the exclusion of those deemed outsiders. As Harry Brighouse notes, saying that citizens of a state owe these obligations to one another carries no implication that they owe any less or any different to citizens of other states, against nationalism. Nationalism can create divisions between nations and hinder global cooperation. Ignores global justice critics argue that nationalism can justify inequalities between nations. As Brighouse explains, we owe things to them because we are currently on their wrong side, which situation was indeed brought about by the actions of our forebears, against nationalism. Nationalism can overlook the historical and global factors that contribute to economic and social disparities between nations, propaganda, and irrationality. Nationalism has been linked to the propagation of propaganda and the suppression of rational discourse. I.C. Jarvie argues that nationalism can involve pseudo-arguments against argument, pseudo-arguments which attempt to show that the distinction between argument and propaganda, reason and unreason. Nationalism and the social sciences. Nationalism can promote emotional appeals and myths over critical analysis and truth. Danger of extremism. Critics warn that nationalism can be a precursor to dangerous forms of extremism, such as chauvinism, fascism, and ethnic cleansing. E. Benner notes that, if we want to argue that some forms of patriotism or nationalism should be preferred to others, patriotism or nationalism per se, since they are our best protection against rotten patriotism. Nationality without nationalism. Extreme nationalism can lead to aggression, human rights abuses, and global instability. In conclusion, while nationalism can serve positive functions like fostering community and self-determination, it can also have negative consequences like exclusion, inequality, propaganda, and extremism. Critics argue that a more cosmopolitan and inclusive perspective is needed to balance the particularism of nationalism with the universal principles of human rights and global justice.